Hi guys, welcome back to the next episode of Dinner of the Silver Fox. I'm your host Cagney, and today returning again we have Tor and Lennon.
Hello.
Hola.
And today we're going to be talking about Rose Galleries, specifically Batman.
Tap the brakes.
Rose.
Did you say Rose Gallery?
Rogues.
He said row.
Rogues.
He said rose.
Rogue.
Rogues.
Okay, rogue.
You saying a real soft G. Is that like yogging?
Rogues Galleries.
Rogue.
Rogue Galleries. So,
Like,
Batman villains.
yeah.
pop that
There you
G
go.
out there, son.
There you go. Batman villains, specifically.
No, like,
So-
why'd you say rogues galleries?
That's
It's
what they're
what
called.
I
They're
said.
called.
They're Rogues
Yes,
Gallery.
they're called.
Okay.
It's an
Say
archaic
that.
term.
It is.
You're a little too young to
You're
understand.
old. Shut up.
Oh. Anyway, alright, so this week we're going to get into Batman villains and, our favorites, what makes them tick, and why, in my opinion, Batman has the best out there. So, some people will debate about that, but for this
No.
episode,
The range of his villains is great.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many from so many different backgrounds and like so many reasons to hate Batman. Like, holy fuck.
I feel like he probably has, with the exception of the Joker, the most reasonable Rogues Galleries too, because he's worked with some of them on several occasions. Like there's times where he's worked with
Arby.
Ivy, and there's
So,
times
like,
where he's
how-
worked with Ra's al Ghul. And
some
there's
of
times-
them are more like anti-hero or possibly bordering on good.
Like, Ivy is an eco-terrorist. That's
Right.
what she is. Like,
Yeah.
she wants the world to...
for nature to take
Yeah.
back over.
Exactly.
I'm surprised she's not in Ra's al Ghul's camp, and they're not just fucking popping out kids, because that's his whole fucking thing too.
She hates humans, though. Besides Harley, I
And
guess.
herself, I guess.
And, well, yeah. She doesn't consider herself a meat bag.
Well, she's wrong, because she's 100% made of fucking meat.
Well, it depends on which Ivy you're talking about. Like with the New 52 specifically, I feel like they've given her kind of like a reboot to her origin, so to speak. Because in the original, it was like an experiment kind of thing where she was like a botanist and all that, and she like crossed herself with like
She's
plant
like
stuff. And
Hybrid human plant.
yeah,
It's like
but
that thing from Little Shop of Horrors.
yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much. But in like the New 52, she has access to the green, kind of like Swamp Thing does.
Mm-hmm.
It's obviously not to the same level, but like the green is like this,
She and him are banging.
No.
Yeah, she got the
Pretty
green
sure.
through injection.
They
But-
loved each other.
It's like a supernatural thing, like she has access to that gives her some power and connection through plants or whatever.
It's like a Shrek and Fiona situation. I'm
Maybe.
For the record.
There you
You're
go.
donkey.
Yeah.
Donkey.
But I feel like they kind of gave her a boost to her powers as well, though, because she's way more OP in the New 52 than she was back in like previous incarnations.
Yeah, which is cool.
Yeah.
Yes, I feel like they have these villains in the DC universe, and even some of the heroes, and they have these power sources, and they never explore how strong they could really get. Like if you could really control all of the the botanical life forms around you, that shit would be wild.
Oh,
Yeah.
Because the tensile strength on some plants is stronger than steel.
Well, then you run into the realm of like poisons and like things like that as well.
Crazy
I mean-
neurotoxin, psilocybin.
Yeah.
antidotes.
You can completely make an entire city docile if you just made a whole bunch of psilocybin mushrooms grow and release spores.
I'm
I'm pretty sure that's what she did in one of the. It was a. I don't think it was exactly that, but she was trying to release spores on the entire city and shit.
well, remember
Or
too.
put it in the water supply or something.
Well, remember too, she can like control people if she gets close enough to them
Well,
and has
yeah,
some
with
like.
hormones.
Well, period. Who cares how it is? That's pretty OP. She controlled Superman at one point.
Oh yeah, she
The
laced
Hush-
him with
the Hush-
kryptonite.
the Hush
Yeah.
storyline? Yeah, in the Hush storyline, like she takes control of him, until like
Crazy.
Batman knocks his ass, silly and like makes him come back to his senses.
Like he does
She's
with
pretty-
Chris McDonald or whatever his name. Chris
Yeah.
O'Donnell McDonald.
O'Donnell.
O'Donnell. Yeah.
O'Donnell, yeah, pretty much. Think about that. That's a fucking OP-ass move. Why is she? Yeah,
She's OP, but they don't.
I think they're
They
making
don't
more.
take advantage of her character as much as they should, especially in like a time like now where there's a lot of environmental stuff going on, and it's like it could be a huge storyline, but then again, it's been done a million times with like
Well, I also
other
feel,
media.
also feel like they're trying to maybe push her more into like the Harley Quinn area, and also making her like an anti-hero or straight hero sometimes. I mean, she
They're
was
making her more docile.
well, she was in the Birds of
Rather
Prey in
than-
like the newer incarnations. You know, she was like doing like legit hero shit for them.
Yeah, I think her powers and abilities and her goals would fit something that's more heroic, to be honest. Because, like,
Yeah, I agree.
not super mad at people that, like, blow up tractors in South America because they're, like, bulldozing the jungle and kicking these indigenous people out of their homes. They'd be like, sucks to be you guys. Sorry about your overly
Money
insured.
is more important. Go fuck yourselves. And like I understand her motives and stuff, but like I feel like they go from extremes with her. Like they go from she's crazy and trying to destroy every human on this planet, and then they go to like in the Harley Quinn show and like the new Harley Quinn series and stuff. Whenever they pair her up with Harley Quinn, they make her docile, and they make her like super non-goal oriented because it's not all about her anymore. Because it's all about Harley now, and Harley and
it's
her
good
being
that.
in love. And like I totally agree with Carl Ivy. I love that shit. I love them being together and whatever. It's canon, but like at the same time, that shouldn't take away from Ivy's
Character.
motivations and
Yeah.
character personality.
I think Harley Quinn's overhyped. In
Oh,
just my opinion.
Well, we'll
Especially
skip her next then.
with her start, like how she started as literally a sidekick for Joker, and
Eye candy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
They
'cause
were scared that Joker seemed too gay for Batman, so they were like, "Hey, give him a female to beat
Yeah,
and
beard.
throw out
Yeah.
windows."
Here's a beard for you.
she's actually one of the. If you like look at the actual timeline of like Batman, she's actually one of the newer characters.
She was
as far-
she was the year I was born was when she was introduced, 1998. Yeah,
No, she was
Her
introduced
first
in
appearance.
1993.
when? What did she
And
appear in?
She appeared in the Bruce Timm and Batman comics.
Harleen Quinn's.
Yeah, 1993 September. Batman Adventures number 12. Paul Dini and Bruce Timm wrote her in as she first appeared as the psychiatrist, and it went through her arc, and that's how she was introduced. Because then she came into the animated series after that, and that's one of the few characters that like showed up in that universe before coming to the actual like canon comics.
Mhm.
So
Either
canon
way,
comics, yes, she did come around at that time.
One you never see a whole bunch of, in my opinion. I don't feel like he's featured as much. Harvey Dent, Two-Face.
I feel like he's a weird comic character to have to write into a story because he's so conflicting with things. You know what I mean? Like he can't be like a gang lord or anything like that, or he can't be like just a regular rogue because he's just a regular guy. He doesn't have any abilities.
His motivations clash.
He's got an ugly face.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's it. That's all I really in the split
I think
personality.
I think Christopher Nolan probably did him the best that anybody could ever
Oh
fucking
yeah.
do.
Like,
Yeah.
Even better than,
conflict
and I'm
was
sorry to
good.
say this because you're a saint, Mr. Jones, but better than the Tommy Lee Jones version.
well,
Yeah.
that we won't hold
Who
that
got his
against,
face burned by coffee in the courtroom.
we won't
Yeah.
hold that against Tommy Lee Jones.
That wasn't his writing.
Yeah.
True.
But,
But
Good job on.
yeah. If you were gonna have him in the
Control,
movie,
man.
yeah, if you're gonna have him in a movie, they did him about as good as you could.
like even in the video games, he's not a huge character. Like he has his gang in Arkham City and stuff, but even his gang is like, I don't know what to make of this dude. Like I don't know whether to make heads or tails of him.
Ah!
Get
But
out.
yeah, it's the conflict. Like he in himself is a conflict. Like other people don't influence his conflict. He is battling it out with himself, so he wouldn't.
He's
do
like the
well.
homeless guy on the street that's fighting with the pigeon. I'm just gonna
Good analogy.
not
Yeah.
engage
analogy.
with this. I'm gonna get on the bus and hope to God there's no crackhead jerking off in the corner.
Exactly. He
I don't
wouldn't
fucking
do
hate
well
what I
as
say.
like a main villain
Uh,
anymore.
It depends. Like he could be, and he has been occasionally, but it's been
I
a,
think he's just, in my opinion, he's not smart enough to challenge Batman mentally. He's not strong enough to challenge him physically. Like he would literally have to.
he has to play games.
They'd have to give him something. Like
Yeah.
they'd have to make him like not a shitty ass district attorney.
Well, that's why they've had to
Split personality.
like bolster him with another person or another villain, like in the last, I'll say, 10 years.
Yeah,
You know what I
he's
mean?
always paired with somebody.
Yeah.
Or he has someone like overshadowing him
Yeah.
in the plot. So it's like even Scarecrow does better on his own as a villain than fucking Harvey Dent does.
Well, that's the thing, though. I don't think you could classify him as a true villain. He would be kind of something unique because he doesn't.
Scarecrow or Harvey?
No, Harvey.
Oh, okay.
No,
I was
Two-Face.
like-
Two-Face. Sorry, Two-Face. We'll get the
He's
Scarecrow
definitely a
next. But
villain.
no, Two-Face, like, because he's not about like I'm not just gonna go rob a bank.
Mhm.
You know what I
He's
mean?
all about chance. That's it. Like good and bad are two sides of a coin, and that's how he's going to determine what to do with his life.
Yeah, like it's not that simple with him. I guess.
He can't make decisions for himself anymore, and that's a weakness that he's developed through his split personality, and it's going to cause him to be fucked up for a while.
Yeah.
Even when they try to rehab him in that one comic, I
Yeah.
think he just snapped right
Yeah, he
back
doesn't
after
believe
that.
he doesn't actually
Yeah.
believe that he looks better.
Yeah, it's like stop looking at
He
me.
still sees like the scars on his
Yeah,
face
body
and stuff.
dysmorphia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it became a part of him.
Yeah.
Mentally and physically, his body didn't match, and so he was like freaking out because he still had two different parts of him, mentally and physically.
Yeah. It's sad. He could have done a good thing, but yeah. So getting the Scarecrow.
Yeah, so he's a cool
He's a
villain concept. He's a super genius chemist. He's created a serum that like messes with your brain and
He's just a psychopath. Like he's literally, psychopath. He's just very dedicated to his brand,
I don't think
his research.
he's wrong though. Because I feel like because this whole thing is that like fear causes the most growth, right?
Fear is the motivation for everything in life.
It controls everything.
Yeah, and I am super on board with seeing spooky, scary, crazy shit.
Oh yeah.
It got to the point where I don't even wake up from really bad dreams anymore, and like I don't view them as bad. Like I have like horrific fucking nightmares about shit from like Afghanistan or like even like just Jumanji level shit where there's like giant spiders in the house, and I just won't wake up. And when I do wake up, I'm not like I'm like, oh wow, that was crazy. What can I learn from this? So it would be. I think I might actually be on board with taking a little fear serum,
gas. See
fear
what
gas.
fucks up.
Yeah. Well, the way he does it too is compelling. You know, like making people see whatever their worst
Biggest
fears are.
fear.
Right.
You know.
Well, it's super easy for me.
Yeah.
I know what it is. I'm 100% terrified of spiders. So
Yeah.
maybe I would. Maybe I wouldn't take a serum that makes me see spiders crawling out of everything. Because I'd probably just be like, I'm out.
Crawling all
Yeah.
over your fucking body and shit.
Yeah. And he's also one of those things like villains you can also keep buffing. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah.
he's a researcher. He's there to further his research in
Improve.
any way he can, and
What if he mixed venom with fear serum?
he did.
I thought they did
In
that
the video
once.
game.
Yeah.
They did that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they tried to mix it, and it kind of got super fucked up. And
Isn't that what he does with Bane in the game or something like that? And that's why Bane goes on a rampage or some shit?
I think so. Like
I can't
they
remember
had
exactly.
taken Bane's venom supply, and I think they were in the process of trying to. I think it was either Joker gas or fear gas that they were trying to mix in with the venom.
Yeah.
Because in the first video game, Joker had already made his own like Titan formula or whatever out of the venom, so it was already fucked up. And then Scarecrow was getting kind of like, I don't know. Honestly, I don't think they mixed it with fear gas, but that could be a thing. I know they mixed fear gas and Joker gas at one point in like one of the
That was
comics.
fucking insane.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, like dying laughing in fear. That'd be interesting.
I liked his Freddy Krueger glove that he had in the video game too.
Yeah, they had the
That was pretty-
serum, yeah, his
His
toxin in there.
design in the video game was top.
That was pretty dope.
Yeah.
That was pretty dope.
He was like all gnarled and emaciated and like the fucking.
Yeah.
Oh, it was good.
Yeah.
Shoto.
Shoto. Why do you gotta find the noisiest toy?
I don't know. I also feel like they did him pretty good in the first movie too. The
Oh,
Nolan
yeah.
movie. Cillian
Oh,
Murphy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that guy, he was good. What
Is it Jillian or Cillian?
Cillian Murphy.
Is it Cillian or Cillian?
Cillian.
Cillian Murphy. Okay.
Yeah, I think.
He did good.
Don't quote me on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
You had
Yeah,
Cillian Murphy, and it's the guy looks just like him from Chile.
Spanish version.
Yeah, right.
He nailed that shit. Like, I haven't been able to watch a movie with him in it without thinking of his Scarecrow performance.
Well, when you think of Scarecrow too, like aesthetically, he looks like
Oh yeah,
Jonathan
he's like
Crane
super
would.
smart,
You know,
like skinny. He wasn't super.
he was
skinny,
thin. He's
but
thin.
he
He's
was
light.
thin,
Yeah.
He does have like an oddly emaciated face, though.
All the
Yeah,
time.
It looks like
It's
somebody saran wraps silicone over a skull.
it's kind of like
Yeah,
you
I
want to
understand.
trust him, but at the same time, something's off. It's like, ooh,
He could be super good or super evil. Both,
yeah.
both, yeah. I don't know. I think he did a pretty good job, though. I don't know. Another villain I think was really good in the game that people kind of don't give enough credit to, even though he's been around since like the 1940s, is Hugo Strange.
Oh yeah.
As
They
far as
don't-
like mentally goes, that
He
dude.
was-
I mean, he figured out who like Batman was.
Yeah,
he
but
was
so did
super
Ra's al Ghul.
imposing.
Yeah, but he had an entire like League of Assassins at his disposal. Hugo Strange figured
Had
it out with his
himself.
mind.
Did Ra's al Ghul use League of Assassins to deduct it, or did he
But-
himself?
He's also like 600 or 700 years old.
Okay.
I'm just saying, Hugo Strange. I don't think it's enough credit, because he like broke Batman down. Like I remember in the animated series, he was actually very compelling.
Well,
He figured it
let's
out.
not forget his daughter raped him. So.
Hugo Strange, not Ra's al
Oh,
Ghul.
oh. I thought you were talking about.
No.
Ra's al Ghul.
Hugo Strange. Then we'll get the rape.
You can't rape a man, Victoria.
Fuck up, man. Jesus.
Anyway, as far as like mental
Tell that
stuff
to Elijah
goes,
Wood. Or not Elijah Wood, Shia LaBeouf, sorry.
so back to the point at hand. Hugo Strange, like I said, and he was the main antagonist in like the second Arkham game.
Yeah, in Arkham
Right?
City.
Yeah, Arkham City.
He had made the whole plan of Arkham City
Yeah.
with Roz
Yep.
in order to basically kill all these bad people.
Well, as far as somebody can match wits with him, I feel like he's kind of up there.
He's definitely smart and he's super imposing.
Yeah.
As a doctor, he's super I don't know. I would not want him to be my fucking doctor. Obviously, he's crazy, but even if he
He's
wasn't,
oddly ripped.
yeah, right. He's like a fucking cinder block, kind of, with a beard.
Yeah.
If you gave Common, circa Hell on Wheels, a super gray beard, he could play the fuck
I could see that.
out of
I could see
Hugo
that.
Strange.
I'd watch that.
I would watch that.
I would watch
Takes
that
off
too.
that.
Yeah. Connor's got good acting chops as well.
He really does. I didn't like him in John
Yeah.
Wick. I don't tell myself that because he could probably kick my ass.
I don't know, man. He was good. He was a good contrast.
Wait, what? Who are you talking about?
Common
Common.
rapper. But
Oh.
anyway, back to the point. Batman villains. So, like you were saying next, Ra's al Ghul.
Ray, is it Ray? So they originally wanted it
Ross?
to be pronounced Raish. So that's how
Raish.
they wrote
Yes.
it to be pronounced Raish, but it
Yeah.
is written as Roz.
Yeah.
I'll always say Ra's al Ghul.
That's
I
what
prefer Raish. I think it sounds cooler, and
I
that's
do
how they
both.
originally said
I
it.
just switch between them.
Yeah. But as far as, like,
do
a-
me a huge favor, Rick Cagney. It's not a big deal, but if you could take your opinion, fuck off. That'd be great.
look, this is my show, okay?
Yeah, all right, that's fair. Got
But
me.
regardless, as far as a villain that can match wits, brawn, and resources, I'd say he's probably number one out of
You-
Batman villains.
Oh, Ra's?
Right?
Yeah,
Ra's al
Ra's.
Ghul, yeah.
Yeah, I would say so. He has a fucking cult.
Like-
He's a
Colt,
son or a
Lee.
daughter. Who's Duras? He's got another kid. He's got two kids.
He's got the White Ghost, who's his son, that he's
Son,
albino,
that's right.
albino kid.
Yeah.
That's his oldest. Then he has,
Oh,
actually,
Talia.
Nisa would be the oldest. She's a couple hundred years old. So Nisa, the White Ghost, then Talia. Unless there's some other kids that they're probably going to come out of the woodwork. I mean, if you're 700 years old, you think you have
he's
like a
definitely flopped
few.
around. Dude.
Yeah.
So wait, he disowned his son because he was an albino. I think.
Yeah, I think it's because he didn't live up to his expectations or something like that. And so he was like a
He
monk.
was a racist.
He was one of the keepers of the pits or something like that. He was just like an obscure character that got brought around and then died when he donated his body to Raish when Raish couldn't get his old body or
Can
something
you
like
guys
that.
pick up?
Well. So he took over his body as a resurrection thing, and this is like
That's
10
kind
years
of
ago.
weird.
And then they introduced Nisa as another offspring, who was like somebody that disowned Raish and like escaped from him and made her own cult thing. As the
How do you escape from a cult and make your fucking own cult?
I think she
holy
took
shit.
some of them with her, if I remember right, but it was like, I don't know.
Realized
She wanted to escape once she didn't agree with him, and then, yeah, she has, as the heir to the demon's head, she has her own following.
Ah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, he had to have someone who was like, "What the fuck are you doing, bro?"
Yeah,
Shit.
because that was his original heir.
Yeah.
was
See,
Nisa.
now that makes Talia even more of a bitch, because even her older sister was like, "Something's fucking up here. Like, I'm gonna go." And now Talia's just like at his hand and knee, like on her fucking knees for this dude doing whatever the hell he wants.
Not true. She actually escaped from him as well and went to work for Lex Luthor when he was president.
Okay,
She took over.
going from Roz to Lex Luthor.
No,
not-
Luthor sought her out.
Oh, of course she did.
Because she's like, okay, well, you obviously have experience heading a multinational, corporation / cult following of multiple people over the course of like countries and shit like that for years. So
at
I
this
would,
point, I don't think Lex Luthor would even be a bad president.
that's a
At
whole
least he's super competent.
that's a whole nother podcast
Yeah,
to go
that's
into.
fair.
But yeah, he sought her out to run LexCorp while he was president.
Okay.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yep.
Well, at least she had an out then, but
Yeah.
she had like something else to do. But in the majority of her representations, she's
Pretty submissive
Roz's
to him.
bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then like
I'll say
I don't
this.
know, I just really hate her character after she raped him.
I'll say this. He is one of my favorite villains in like the Justice League arc of like the early 2000s, mid 90s. Only because like you guys ever read the graphic novel Tower of Babel?
I have not.
No. Basically, Ra's breaks into the Batcave, steals all the counter plans that Batman has for the Justice League,
Oh, I've heard of this. Yeah.
and then uses them, and then takes down the entire Justice League except Batman. And Batman and them have a falling out afterwards, and it leads to this whole thing. But I love that story. That's one of my favorite Justice League arcs ever. Because he almost gets away with it, but he should have taken out Batman first. That was his mistake.
So, one thing I don't get about him, I know he wants Batman to be his heir or whatever and marry Talia and shit. But then half the time he's also trying to kill him. Like, is he just not? Is he like,
I don't think
be
he's
the heir
trying
or
to kill
die?
Batman. I think he's trying to turn Batman to make him get a Lazarus pit.
He hasn't given up on Bruce being his heir yet completely. I think he goes through like cycles.
Mhm.
It also depends on the writer. I'd say he goes through cycles where he wants him to be the heir, but then at the same time it just depends on like the writer as far as that kind of goes, because that's the majority of the time he doesn't want to kill Bruce. He just wants him to side with him as an ally.
I'm speaking from the video game experience because you
Oh,
go into the
yeah.
fucking
I don't
demon's
remember
dream
the
or whatever the hell.
Yeah.
He's actively trying to kill you while you're tripping balls and also dying of Joker serum, and you're just like, I thought you wanted me to join you, not fucking murder me.
Yeah.
Alright?
I'd say the games get that a little weird.
You were
Yeah,
a
'cause
rat,
they did my boy Jason Todd dirty.
dude.
Yeah. I didn't
That
agree
poor
with that.
man.
Yeah. Alright, who else?
Jason Todd.
He's not really a villain though.
He's an anti-hero.
I think he
There's
came
a lot
around.
of anti-heroes.
I think he came around full circle with Jason at least, because like he started off as like a no shit, like I'm trying to fuck up Batman. Okay, I guess we can tolerate each other. Okay, I'm gonna be back in the Bat family. You know,
Really?
especially nowadays, he's always in like with the Bat family. Like,
He's always gonna hold that grudge against Bruce for not killing Joker. Like,
Yeah.
He's always gonna.
but
hate
you can hate somebody and still work with them.
True, we do it
I
every
mean, look what we do. Look what we do. Look what
we
we
do
do.
it
Yeah.
every day. Don't give me that bullshit.
And it's not
You
like
act like I don't do that every day.
Yeah, I said we.
But that doesn't
It's
mean it's a
not-
good
it's not-
relationship.
Well, okay, maybe you and me. You don't even go to work anymore, do you?
look, it's a strained relationship between those two, obviously. But it's not like Jason's coming around for like Christmas and Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just because
Well, when you say Bat family, I assume they're living in the fucking mansion. Like,
No, when I say Batman, I mean like Huntress, Batgirl, other Batgirl.
Is Hunter's Bat family?
Yeah.
What?
extended.
I thought she was a bird of prey.
Yeah.
Well, she's still part of the Bat family. You know what I mean?
Like the Joker is?
Well,
Not
I
like
mean,
that.
why
I mean,
wouldn't
like
he take her though? Because she's literally the same as him, like with the whole parents being killed and shit, and like being a super. She was like super affluential heir or whatever.
Yes.
Became a fucking revenge plot to kill.
she just went off the
kill
bad
her.
end instead of the good end.
Yeah.
Well, that's a
Yeah.
matter of perspective, because I'm super on board with it. Just think about how many people Batman could have saved if he just killed the Joker. Untold thousands.
Yeah.
Possibly millions.
But he doesn't want to. That's the point.
Yeah.
He likes Joker, in a way.
He needs
Like,
the Joker. 'Cause
yeah.
if the Joker doesn't exist, then Batman shouldn't exist.
Well, at least that's what Joker has made him believe.
Well, look, we're gonna get in the Joker here in a few minutes when we get to the end. But so for me, another one of my favorites.
Zaz?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
We could have talked about Zaz.
Okay,
But
well, let's
yeah.
go into Zaz then. All right.
I
We
was
can
just
also
trying
talk
to
about
guess.
Bane after that.
Yeah, that's gonna be. We're gonna do our top favorites. So yes, to me, I think Zaz is a pretty compelling character because he's like the complete opposite of what the mentality that Batman would have. I just want to kill everybody.
Yeah.
I have to
They all
kill
have a
everybody.
spot on my body.
Yeah,
He's
I'm gonna
almost like Hannibal
scar
Lecter.
myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say if Hannibal went off the deep end,
Yeah.
that would be
If he
Zaz.
wasn't polite.
Zaz doesn't eat
Yeah.
people though.
No, he
No,
doesn't.
but
he
he's-
just had he.
He's
His,
super on board with killing them for even the slightest infraction.
it's a fetish thing almost for him. Maybe not sexually, but
Yeah, he does
I
mostly
have-
females.
I have to kill somebody because I love to watch the life leave somebody.
It's like people who love tattoos so much they just get whatever they want on their body. It's like that. He has the itch
Yeah.
to kill people, like fucking in the video game. Okay, they did him dirty in Birds of Prey though.
Yeah,
They made him
that-
Roman Sionis' little lapdog.
They,
that
they,
was
they
fucking
did that
weird.
really shitty with him because he is absolutely with his like
His
mind
set-
and like psychosis the way it is. He's almost like physically a match for Batman and like many of the comic book arcs that he's been in, just because
He
of
would
his
have owned
his
Sionis' ass.
savagery in the comics and everything is like way up there and top notch. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't understand where that idea came from to have him working for Sionis. I don't.
Probably because he's
I liked the movie. I liked Ewan McGregor's portrayal of Sionis, but
Yeah.
I did not like the Zaz thing.
I think it's
Is that
one of
who he
those.
was? Is that who?
Yeah, his
he
little
was
like blonde
the blonde
guy,
guy.
like sidekick guy.
That was Zaz.
that was Victor.
That
Zsasz.
was supposed to be Zaz.
playing?
Yeah, it
Yes.
was fucked.
Yes.
Not good.
It was
Don't
really
believe
bad.
it. Maybe it's his brother, Robert
Yeah, it's
Zaz.
just the fucking credits.
Yeah, I don't care.
I think they
I
did it,
make my own reality.
I think they did it that way only because he is such a savage character.
It wouldn't
that
have worked
it
in
would-
a comedy like that.
You'd have to make a movie like Saw, where Batman comes in at the end and saves
Yeah.
him from being
Scarecrow and Zaz in a movie, in like a horror movie. That would have been good.
Yeah, I just think because like my favorite arc with him is like the No Man's Land comic from the '90s, where that earthquake hits Gotham and like it's declared a no man's zone by the government, so they just
It's
basically
just
cut it.
exclusions.
Yeah, they just cut it off from everything. They just leave everybody there, and then so like Zaz pretty much has like a little area on it's basically Manhattan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he has a small area in like the warehouse district I think where he just anybody that comes in there he just fucking slaughters them. And before Batman finally is able to take him down, but it gets pretty heated though between the two of them. But I don't know. Who's your next one?
Well, Raze is probably not a number one.
Yeah.
In
We'll save our
terms of
favorites
who I think is like groovy, I think Killer Croc's pretty dope. Like just his character design.
I like his story. I like his story because he's another one of those tortured people. You know, you're born with a genetic mutation or just I don't even know what to call it. I think I'm gonna say mutation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because the dude looks like an alligator, and you're born like it's not your choice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
It's
then
like through no fault of your own, and you treat him like dog shit.
it's like a lot of
He
Batman's.
becomes exactly what you treat him.
Exactly, and I feel like that's compelling as far as Batman villains. It was just, a lot of them didn't have a choice in the matter, And then, but I don't know. As opposed to like Batman, who made the choice to go and try to do justice, all of them kind of go off the deep end the other way.
Who is his? So I just read a comic book line. I think it's part of the Injustice series.
Mhm.
He's banging some killer whale lady.
Yeah,
Constantine.
Orca.
Oh wait,
Orca.
Croc or
Killer Croc's.
Killer Croc
Killer Croc's.
is with the
Yeah.
Orca chick.
yeah,
Yeah,
and then Justice
they're
League.
having a baby.
Yeah. God, that
Who
baby's
is
gonna
that?
be
Who is
sick.
that lady?
Killer Whale or Black Orca or whatever. Orca is just a random ass villain, from I think the 80s or 90s. She just looks like an orca. That's all she is. She's
She's
just
a
a
big
big,
lady
a
orca.
big.
She's like Killer Croc, but
She's
Orca instead of.
yeah, basically she's a killer
Killer
whale.
whale person.
Yeah, and she's just big and strong.
She's
She
bigger
can, like-
than Croc.
Yeah, she's bigger than Croc. She's fucking huge. She's been the muscle in a lot of different like low level people.
She's like you know how they bring in like Killer Shark and Killer Croc, and they just kind of interchange them
Yeah,
randomly in like the animated movies and shit like that.
she's
They
like
don't
the
give a
muscle.
fuck who it is. They're
Yeah.
just some big muscle, fucking.
Yeah. She's big and strong,
Okay.
and she got whale titties.
Whale titties?
Yeah.
They're different from other titties. Huh?
The
They're
whales
white.
really have. Yeah, they're just. She's
They
a,
have to have titties. They're mammals.
true.
Read a book.
I just said whale titties.
Ah, okay. But you asked if they had titties.
No,
I'm saying,
you
like,
said
not-
whale titties.
Yeah, I said whale titties.
You're the one who said, "Do they look different than normal titties?" And we're like,
he's
"They're just
do
well,
whales even
they're
have
just titties with whales on whales."
Yeah,
Titties
she's
on
just
whales.
she's just like a placeholder muscle bound.
She looks like Pam Poovey with
Yeah.
orchid.
yeah, but black and white.
Yeah.
yeah,
pretty
but
much.
way bigger.
Big ball.
Yeah, she's got like a little fin that hangs over like the Free Willy thing.
Oh,
That's
curls
her
over.
hair.
Yeah,
It's pretty rad. She could be a mohawk if she wants it to. Or
Yeah.
Be a comb over.
she looks kind of cool. Yeah, but
It's not something that they would pursue as a main villain.
yeah, but animal based people, Man Bad.
Oh yeah,
I
Man
love
Bad's
Man
pretty
Bad.
cool.
I love Man Bad.
Isn't that the
dude.
villain from when Batman gets stuck back in the prehistoric time?
No. What?
Yeah, what?
Man
No.
Bad's a
Man Bad.
researcher.
No. Dr. Kurt Langstrom. Did you ever see the animated series? You Philistine?
Dude, years ago.
Okay, so Dr. Kurt Langstrom does like a serum essentially to he's trying to make a cure for deafness. And you know how bats use echolocation as a placeholder for not being able to hear very well.
Sonar.
So he makes a serum, but it has unforeseen side effects and turns him into like a mutant man bat thing. You know what I mean? So it's like he's like a
Okay.
giant.
It's like the
So it's
opposite
like
of
if you
Batman.
imagine like the vampires and
Yeah, it's those.
Yeah.
Vampire
Essentially, like, you know, a big ass vampire bat thing.
Did you see Primal?
Yeah. Here, look right here. This is what he
Like-
looks like.
Primal. Yeah. I know you're
It's
talking
those
about.
things. Basically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's spooky.
He's fucking
He's
dude.
in
he
Arkham
is.
City.
Yeah. You fall. You like.
not
fucking
Arkham City. Arkham Knight.
Night. Yeah. You fly around it like.
And you're trying to catch his
Yeah.
ass.
And you're like, like beating him in the head.
Does it work?
Eventually.
Eventually, yeah.
Yeah.
You find his lab and you're like, oh man, this poor dude.
Man,
He's-
that.
But like in the animated series, it's one of my favorite episodes. It was like the first one he has because the doctor eventually, like Langstrom, eventually likes becoming man bad. You know,
becomes
he gives
an
in-
addiction.
So does
It's
it
like Lizard
randomly?
Dude
Is he like a
from
werewolf
Spider-Man.
where he's not always like that?
Yeah, he has to take a serum to do it, but he
Oh.
becomes addicted to that feeling. He takes and he becomes and like he's
It's
obvious.
almost exactly like the Lizard
It's
guy.
like Dr. Jekyll and
Lizard-
Mr. Hyde.
No, that's not what I said, but okay.
You're talking about the Spider-Man villain, yeah?
Yes.
Chameleon or lizard,
Lizard.
the lizard, yes,
Yeah.
kind
Is
of
he,
like that.
is he just called the lizard?
Yeah, he's the Lizard.
Oh,
That's
that's
a
it's
Spider-Man.
like Doctor
Dr.
Serpent
Lizard.
or something.
Anyway,
But yeah,
yeah, like he gets addicted to having his fucking leg back or arm.
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
lizard, yeah.
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 He likes having a fucking
But
arm.
Langstrom / Man-Bat becomes addicted to that feeling he gets when he takes a serum, kind of like an addiction, and he keeps doing it, even though he knows that he hurts people and kills people, and it's bad stuff happens.
It's like being a werewolf is dope as fuck, even though you're probably gonna
Yeah.
tear some people apart.
And so
So you're
yeah.
gonna turn.
Batman eventually discovers like who he is, and then they have a showdown at like the zoo,
Of course.
and yeah, it goes fucking ham, and he flies around, you know, in the city, and Batman's like tethered to him by like a bat line, and they have a fight in the air, and there's like a blimp involved, like with the like GCPD, and it's fucking like a knockdown drag out thing because he has to
It's
eventually
like when
like
Peter Griffin fights the chicken.
exactly yes, it is just that savage, and yeah, he damn near beats Batman, but yeah. And
Deus
then
Ex Machina saves
I
Batman.
mean, the dude
Yeah.
can fly for real.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
he's got
so
giant
good.
bat
Yeah.
wings.
And then there's a really cool comic arc with him in it where it's called Night and Day. So it's a contrast to Batman and Superman, where it's Man Bat and Bizarro.
That's
Oh.
It's really fucking legit. It's really really fucking
sick.
cool.
So who's
'cause-
the good guy in that one?
Well, they're both good guys because Man Bat eventually becomes an anti-hero, more or less. He kind of can control it, but it's also difficult. But it's one of those things where something happens, and I forget who the villain is in the comic arc, but Bizarro's flying around and sees Man Bat because Langstrom takes the serum to help somebody that's in trouble, and Bizarro sees him, and then and then there's a villain that comes in, and they both try to team up, but it proves to be difficult. But it's an interesting story.
Because Bizarro is kind of like dumb.
Yeah, and then Langstrom
Where's
is
he from? I never understood
Bizarro
Bizarro's thing.
World.
Bizarro World.
What
Yeah.
the fuck is that even?
It's an
It's an
alternate
alternate.
world where like the Flash is really the slowest man alive. You know, Wonder Woman, there's like a Bizarro Wonder Woman, Superman. Obviously, Bizarro has opposite powers of the cold vision and the fire breath instead of the opposite.
And he's real dumb.
Well, they're not. It's not that they're dumb. They speak
Backwards.
backwards. You know what I mean?
Superman isn't dumb, so that wouldn't be his opposite.
Superman.
He's just- I
mean, they're not the
Superman,
smartest.
Superman is like
He's not smart
super
either.
smart.
Yeah.
Superman's really
He's
smart.
not super smart. He's
well,
pretty
He
simple.
Okay.
read through every
He's
single doctor or
Hold
medical
on.
text ever in like that fast.
Hold on.
And then
I'm
did
gonna say
surgery on
this.
Lois
I'm
Lane.
going to say this because we can do this in another episode. One random superpower that people don't know about Superman is he has complete recall.
Oh,
Anything-
it's photographic memory.
Anything he's ever read, ever,
Yo,
or
Superman could be
seen,
autistic.
he can remember. But
Dude, that would be a cool fucking twist.
Superhero.
Like an actual inclusive twist. Superman's fucking autistic.
another episode.
That'd
We'll
be
do,
cool.
we'll do
Okay.
Superman moves. But yes, Man Bat high up there for me as far as villains go.
Yeah, all right, I'll give you that.
Yes. All right. Who's one for you?
Obviously,
Another one.
Joker. Like, Joker's my all-time fave.
Okay, I guess we'll get into the
Wait,
top
wait.
ones.
Well, you went on Roz, and he was the top 3 for him. You
Okay,
did that.
Okay, we'll go. I just said we'll go with Joker. Anyway, all right. Joker, iconic,
Obviously.
legendary.
But I think he's so iconic and legendary because you can do whatever the fuck you want with him in interpreting his character. Like,
Yeah.
there are a million ways to interpret his character. But,
There have
like,
been.
exactly,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what I'm saying. Like,
I think that is the biggest reason I
don't like him.
refuse to watch. No, I love the
Oh.
Joker. I refuse to watch his origin movie with Joaquin Phoenix. I don't want to know how that. I am to the Joker how Joker is to Batman. I don't give a shit who he is on the outside. All I care about is the Joker. I don't care about how he started. I don't want to relate to him. I don't want any of this bullshit. I want him to be this super weird, almost eldritch style, mysterious figure that has no real sense of drive or like you just don't know what the fuck's going on with this guy.
So I will say this in contrast to your comment just now, because I do want to watch the movie with you one day. This is a standalone movie. Has nothing to do with anything that's ever come forward in the comic before. It is specifically Todd Phillips wrote and directed this thing to be its own unique thing.
It's not Joker.
So
it's a Joker.
it's not going to spoil anything in the comics or any movie or any other thing.
Right.
It has
It's-
nothing to do with anything else ever, and it never
It's
will.
almost absurd, really. Like, it's more of a narrative about classism and revolution
But
rather than actually about Batman and DC.
and I think knowing you like I do, I think you will love it.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we'll watch it next weekend.
All right,
It's
so we can do.
very easy to separate yourself from the Joker you know and love. It's very easy. Like, I don't see Joker when I watch that movie. Like, yes, it's called Joker. He has the fucking face paint. He has
plays
that.
in Gotham.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's not my Joker.
But I do want
It's
to do a
not-
future episode on that movie specifically.
Yeah.
So
Dude,
but-
I could spend 3 hours on Joker alone. Like, and all of his interpretations, because there's been so many. Like,
So let me
My
ask.
top two.
I was gonna say, what's our favorite interpretation? So
She go
you
first.
well,
She's your favorite character.
we'll let her go last since it's her favorite.
Yeah.
So who was yours? You already had
Mine
some.
is a tie between the Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo run and Heath Ledger. Because
Okay.
I really am like a big sucker for like when people take things that are comic booky or sci-fi or whatever, and then they get super hardcore and gritty and realistic.
Dark. Yeah.
Like if you took and I've talked about this before. Like, if you took
Mhm.
Star Wars, like a stormtrooper unit, and they made a Band of Brothers series where they're like cussing, and they got like droid killer written on their helmets, and they're like
Yeah.
just like
They
shit's
paint their armor
going
different
haywire all
colors.
the
Yeah,
time. People
yeah.
are coming back with no arms and legs because shit's going like I would watch the breaks off of that, and that's what I love about the Batman series for Nolan and Heath Ledger's Joker is because it was just like super gritty.
And
Agreed.
that's the kind of audience they're trying to gear towards with the new cinematic stuff. Like, they're still trying to compete with Marvel with the humor side, but they're definitely gearing towards gritty. And it works in some instances, but sometimes it just really doesn't work. Like, Batman versus Superman was ridiculous.
Lame.
Yeah.
But,
So for me, at least, my favorite is going to probably be. I'm going to agree with you on the Scott Snyder
Yeah.
interpretation of the Joker,
Yeah,
like
when
in the
his
past
face
couple
cut
of
off
years.
and-
Yes, like
that shit was
Shit is
cool.
that
nuts.
whole like multi arc where you think he's dead, it's just a face, and then he comes back and he's like more twisted and demented, and he's mad. He is angry at Batman for not showing him that. But basically, like, okay, I'm giving you all my feelings, but you're gonna give it to your Bat family, so I'm gonna make you fucking pay for it, bitch.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Basically,
yeah, exactly.
unrequited love
Exactly.
at that point.
And like, there's nothing scarier than somebody that feels that way,
Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned.
like a Joker
Like
pissed
a
off.
Joker scorned. Oh,
But
man.
I'm gonna give it a
I know
shout
what
out.
you're gonna say. Flashpoint.
Yes.
Yeah, I called
Yeah.
it.
Big props to the writers of that. I can't think of their names right now, but the completely opposite take where, for those of you that don't know, the Flashpoint alternate universe where Bruce Wayne dies and his parents become the hard contrast with Thomas Wayne becoming Batman and Martha Wayne becoming the Joker. I wish they had gone into more arcs with
Detail
that.
with that.
Oh my
I wish there was
god.
a whole comic book series of that.
That's like
I would pay big top dollar for that shit. It is so heartbreaking.
I'd pay $20 a trade paperback to read the Thomas Wayne Batman series.
That's only I think 2 or 3 issues of the actual Batman arc of that before they get into like the bigger narrative of the Flashpoint itself. But just that small 2 or 3 like comic arc where Thomas and Martha are fighting, and it's like
they're fucking. It's like
20 years later,
it's
and
an extremism of how like parents deal with losing their child.
Yeah.
Like
it's so heartbreaking, and like I almost cried just reading it at the end how it turns out. I won't spoil it for anybody because it's absolutely a must read, but it is so good
heartbreaking.
and so tragic in the best way that it makes you want to keep reading because like, fuck, I gotta know what happens next. Even though I know we're gonna get sad, but goddamn, is it a good read? Definitely one of my favorite comics of all time.
Like, you always hear about the normal stories of, parents divorcing after their kid dies. They think it's each other's fault, stuff like that, and like, it just takes it to
The extreme.
extremism. I think it's really cool. Was that your?
Yeah. So your turn.
Hands down, the what?
I'm guessing in my head before you say it. Okay.
Hands
Yeah,
down, out of any Joker interpretation that I've ever encountered, the Arkham games are always going to be it for me. Because, like, I grew up with that shit. Like, that was one of the first video games that I got super, super into was Arkham City. And I remember playing through that shit all night, and then 3 in the morning, I get to the part where Joker dies, and I'm like, I'm so emotionally invested in this, and I think I had to shut it off for a few minutes because Joker died, and I was like, shell-shocked. I was like, oh my fucking god. And then I played the entire series, and I was like, okay, Arkham Knight, I'm not a huge fan of, but like Arkham Origins, Arkham City, and Arkham Asylum, like I played through those at least 8 times each. Like, I can't get enough of those games and how they interpret the characters and stuff. And then for the second one, it's like, it's a toss-up between the Killing Joke Joker and Batman Animated Series Joker.
Mark Hamill.
That is a
Yeah.
good point.
Yep.
Well, Mark Hamill did the voice for the Batman series,
Yeah.
or the games, right?
The games.
Yeah, he
so
did
it's
too,
both,
yeah.
For
So Mark Hamill Joker is
Probably
all-time favorite.
Yeah.
Troy Baker's a close second because he was in Arkham Origins, but he can't do Mark Hamill.
Yeah,
he can't beat Mark Hamill. No one.
I
can.
think Mark Hamill might be one of the most, if not the most,
He's
gifted
iconic.
voice actors of all time.
He's definitely up there. Yeah.
Fire Lord.
Firelord. Ozai.
Yeah.
Skips the gorilla yeti thing.
Yeah.
I forget what he is. He's done a ton of stuff.
I mean, that's
Like,
basically all he did,
He's
except
a cool
for like.
dude too. Like
Yeah.
just all in all.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Really-
so those are my epitome, like my perfect Jokers. I can't vouch for any live action Jokers. Like they just aren't Joker to me. Like not my ideal version of Joker, but
Fair enough.
they're good interpretations of Joker. I can say that because like I'm not super into the gritty stuff as much. I like the duality of having him like super happy and go lucky while he beats a kitten to death with a puppy. Like
or skins him
you
in
know,
alive.
it's
Yeah.
like the duality of those together. It confuses you, and you're like, he's so fucked up, but
Yeah.
he's like so cool and
Yeah.
like stupid and crazy, and I like it. And he's bright and colorful, and
The
yeah,
Batman's.
yeah,
Yeah, dark.
My
parents were
yeah. Exactly.
I'm just a brooding asshole.
I love their clash in those kinds of things in the video games, in the animated series. It's a very unique character interaction to me.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. For me, since you took Joker, I'm going to say that my next favorite Batman villain, all time, with the exception of the Joel Schumacher, rest in peace, was Bane. Or is Bane. Only because, like, when I think Bane, I think the very first arc you saw him in back in the 90s was...
Where he's like a gimp suit wearing guy that's like super on board with
The wrestler dude?
being. Yeah.
No, not necessarily. No.
You're talking about with Val Kilmer and the Bat Nipples?
No,
Oh.
not that one. In the comic, when he shows up for the first time, he comes to Gotham. He's got his own team of mercenaries. Like, dude, born in a prison, grows up there, takes over the prison, escapes, becomes like a mercenary in just a few short years, becomes like one of the top like killers in the world. Comes to Gotham because he's like, you know what? I'm gonna fucking take this place over. I can beat the Bat. I've studied him. You see him watching Batman from a distance. He brings his, like I said, his own team of like other people that kind of like contrast the Bat family at the time, like Nightwing, Robin, and all that. Totally outwits Batman by having his other villains like Joker, Penguin, all these other rogues break Batman down, doesn't give him any time to rest, and then, only then, does he actually take on Batman and fucks him up, breaks his back, and this went on for like I think it was like a year or two. They had this arc where he breaks Batman down. Batman has to go back to training, becomes better, gets other people to help him recover, comes back, and then
Beats his ass again.
he gets back to basics and then beats his ass, and he's like, "You are the Bat," and then takes it back over.
I think Arkham Origins is a good view into what you were saying about like the mercenary group and stuff.
Yeah.
It wasn't like exactly how you said that, but that was the most organic thing I'd seen in a long time.
And I hate when they just make him like this dumb, like, okay, I'm just going to juice up all Venom and go, oh, like break things. No, Bane is
Calculating.
He's almost like Batman. That's why in the comics, he respects the fuck out of Batman because he's like, oh, well, I beat him. He became better and then beat my ass. I'm going to try to become like this man. And like, he winds up becoming like a leader of this group called the Secret Six, like with Catman, Ragdoll, and a couple other anti-heroes / villains.
Cat breaks. Catman?
Yep.
Oh my god.
Yep. Same concept as Batman, but with cats. We can give him that later.
Catwoman as a dude. not
Slightly
not
more
a-
to it. Slightly more.
Not
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a different arc. I'll get into that because it's actually a pretty interesting story. But
What about Ratman?
there's
I
not a
mean,
Ratman,
here's the
but there's a guy called Pied Piper in DC. That's Flash villain. Another arc. But anyway, I like Bane in that aspect.
There was
Another different subject.
Okay.
Yeah. But Bane, super compelling guy in the comics. And smart, capable physically, winds up getting off of Venom because he knows Batman doesn't use it or use any enhancements. So he's like, well, if he can do it, I don't need it either. I can become better. And he
So
winds up.
basically, he has to go through all those withdrawals of like getting off of Venom,
Mhm.
which is breaking him down, and then he has to bring himself back up like
Yeah.
Batman did. So he's trying to go across the same path that Batman did and become better through that.
And that's his whole goal is like to become better, to be able to beat Batman one-on-one without anything, because he knows Batman operates like that. And that's his whole thing too. Is like, I can do this if you can.
It's like a pure rivalry. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
like you are challenging me, and I want to beat it. I want to beat that challenge. Kind of thing.
Like, I can be better than you, and I'm going to show you eventually. So, and
Well,
that's
I feel like they did closer to that version of Bane with Christopher Nolan again.
more, yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much. Yeah, they kind of did it like a reverse Venom, where he needed anesthesia because his back was fucked up.
Like
You know,
you.
Not that bad. Shit, I wish I was half the man Bane was, but yeah.
But then they fucking literally just tore the carpet right out of that character with Talia. Like,
Yeah, a lot
they
of people
fucked
were.
that shit up.
Yeah, people didn't like
Like,
that.
it
a
was
lot.
good in the beginning,
She
and you
shoots
thought
him in
he
the
was
head,
the
right?
mastermind.
Who, Bane?
She shoots him.
No.
No.
Oh, they were lovers or some shit?
No. She shoots Bane. Somebody shoots. I thought because Bane dies in the end of that, doesn't he? Because he like, gets his ass kicked by Batman, and then Talia goes like, "Surprise!"
She probably did. Like,
I feel like
she
she
acted
shot-
like
she
she
shot
loved
him.
him.
No, she didn't shoot him.
I don't remember. I didn't like the movie enough to watch it again, so.
I wonder what his face looked like under that mask in the movie.
Tom
we
Hardy.
know what Tom Hardy looks like.
Yeah, I know, but why did he wear the mask?
I just said it because remember his
He
back
had
was
the
broken.
Anesthesia.
Yeah, that was like a constant flow of some kind of like numbing agent or anesthesia of some kind because his back was fucked up and healed and fixed incorrectly in the prison, and that's why you remember no one cared who I was, who I put on the mask, and I could actually do shit again. Otherwise, he was like, I'm going to assume he was
was
paralyzed
crippled.
with pain.
Yeah.
Yeah, essentially.
That's what you meant.
Yes. Yeah, because remember when Batman hits it and he's like, oh no.
Yeah, he's freaking
Yeah,
out because
he's
he
like,
can't
ow.
fight now.
Yeah, like ow, ow. Yeah.
It's just a malingering Lance Corporal. I just want an SAQ jet.
Yeah. Do we have any honorable mentions? I'm gonna say
I think the Riddler's an honorable mention.
yeah,
Oh yeah, Riddler.
honorable mention.
I feel like they kind of mess with him in the New 52.
I think
He's-
the year one arc. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was really good. I'm gonna say Penguin. Honorable
Yeah.
mention for Penguin. I mean, Danny DeVito alone is worth.
Oh, of course, of
yeah.
course.
Oh my
Danny
god.
DeVito
Come
Penguin
on.
cannot be outdone.
No, I don't think
Yeah.
so.
No,
Yeah.
I thought it was weird how they made him a mutant, though, instead of just like a really...
I do.
I don't even know
I
if you
did
make
like
him-
that though. Like the Tim Burton.
Yeah.
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 They made them all like super like.
Almost
Tim
an
Burton-y?
aesthetic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Like I love the concept art.
It's
that
like
he
little
drew.
flippers. Like in a lot of iterations, he doesn't have those weird little
He
flippers.
just got hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
And
just
like
a
he
dude,
doesn't
just
have
looks-
a mutation.
Yeah.
I
He
kind
looks
of
like
like.
Danny DeVito.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mr. DeVito.
I think
I'll
that
buy some of your limoncello.
something they should, if they were to do more of like a mental illness focused horror, they should totally do ventriloquist.
Yep.
The
I
dummy.
like him. I
Uh,
like him a lot.
the dummy doll and the guy who picks him up or whatever, and I think it would be a cool movie to see. Like, it's gonna be hard to put him up against Batman at first, but like it would have to be one of those thrillers where it's like this guy starts with this doll, like a creepy doll, you know, the creepy doll trope, and like it becomes real, like Chucky style.
Yeah.
Like
That'd be kinda-
persuading
that'd be
him to
kinda
kill people, and
Yeah.
then Batman finally catches wind and is trying to catch this dude.
Yeah.
I think it wouldn't be like a good movie, but I think if they had like, I don't know,
Like maybe a
standalone
cartoon
movie,
or something
yeah.
like that, like a episode of the cartoon or something.
Mhm.
That'd be kind of cool. All right, for me, last honorable mention: Owlman, Thomas Wayne Jr. of Earth 3. That is a counter Earth, so Owlman is actually like a villain.
Court of Owls.
But-
Oh yeah, he wants to
No.
blow
No.
up Earth Prime
Exactly, like
and just stop all
Yeah.
of them.
where like Wonder Woman is like Superwoman, but she's like an evil trope of Lois Lane and Superman is actually he has to snort kryptonite to get his powers up. Yeah, it's like a complete opposite Earth kind of thing.
I
Where
watched that Justice League
yeah,
one. Yeah.
the Justice League back in the cartoons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where they're evil counterparts and they run their Earth. And Thomas Wayne he has like an enhanced cerebellum or brain,
Yeah,
to
that's
make him the
one
smartest
with,
person on Earth. Yeah,
like
for
Red
every
Hood is a good guy in that one.
yeah
Like
for every
Joker is.
Joker's the
They
clown or
have
something
the
like that.
Jester, and then they have. Was that the one with the Jester or with Red Hood?
I think he's called the Jester. In that
Okay,
one.
yeah,
But he's a
I'm
good
pretty
guy.
sure that was
Yeah.
the Jester.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there was it was like a really small episode in one of the shittier Batman cartoons.
It was
like,
a big arc, I think
Batman
four or
and
5
Friends or
years
something.
ago, when Forever Evil came around, where they invade the Earth Prime. But yeah, but as far as that goes, I think those are definitely the top villains that we can all agree on as far as Batman goes.
Yeah, that's fair.
You were talking about Ratman. There was like the Exterminator or some shit.
Uh,
It wasn't the Pied Piper.
Look, there's Pied Piper, there's Ratcatcher, there's a whole list
Ratcatcher, that's what.
of villains that we can get on.
And then
for-
Mothman. There's Mothman.
You mean Firefly?
No, there's
there's
also a
Mothman.
moth villain.
No, maybe it's not
his
Batman.
name's
then.
Mothman.
Yeah.
I saw him in the
He's
Yeah.
like super bright and colorful in
Look,
the
we could get
comics.
into-
It's
whole
not
other
one.
episode.
It's not one. In
Firefly's
terms
pretty
of singular
cool.
villains, I still am in favor of Ra's al Ghul, but the Court of Owls was also
Yeah.
very
Oh.
cool.
True. That's definitely
Stared into the abyss.
like the newest one.
I would watch that movie, like an actual
That's
detective
that
thriller
is
movie
gonna
where
be the
Batman's
next-
doing detective shit.
The next
Yes.
game, the next Arkham, it's going to be a soft reboot apparently, but it's going to be about the Court of Owls being the main villains in the video game.
Do a lot more detective work.
Yep, it's going to be apparently it's going to be focused around the
The
entire.
games have always been very based around detective work.
Yeah, but it does it for you. I would like a game where, like, you guys ever played Condemned Criminal Origins? So, like, there's actual, like, you actually have to go through, like, this field manual, be like, oh, what kind of blood spatter pattern is this? You're like, arterial, venous, shotgun blast or whatever. You have to, like, go through and, like, actually figure out, like, what the modus operandi is, what the murder weapon was, like, all this shit. And then you're also contending with all these, like, psychopathic homeless people because you're in, like, the shittiest part of Detroit. So
Okay.
I'd like to see something like that where you're Batman. You're actually doing, like, no shit. Like, you have to go through your Bat Apple Watch and be like, it's arterial blood spray, which means he got his neck cut, which means it was probably not the Joker.
I do feel like the comics touch a little bit more on that lately. Like in
Him
the last
being a
10
detective.
years, like detective work and like research, like in the Court of Owls storyline.
He does a lot.
It's like a whole issue of him like tracking down and like figuring out like where are they and how have I not seen this and vice versa. Like it's good. I think
and
it's
his
gonna
brother
be
was alive.
dun, dun, dun.
Spoilers. Sorry about
Or
that.
is it his brother?
I do think his brother.
We don't. There's no confirmation.
True. He's in a jet engine now anyway, right? Isn't that how I forget that's how he dies, right?
No. Like he's been buried by the Court of Owls to like kind of like.
No. Like when him and Batman finally fight.
Yeah, but
he
he
kicks his
doesn't
ass
die.
through it.
He goes back to the Court of Owls and they're like, you did all this without our knowing and without our permission, so we're gonna put you in the ground for like 100
Ooh, he
years.
put his ass on ice?
Yeah. Yep, they put him on ice. Yep. I think that's it for honorable mentions.
Yeah,
So
fair.
we'll go ahead and wrap up this episode. Any final comments?
There's way more lore, and it's great.
Yeah.
I
That's
love
it.
Batman and the intricacies of it that have developed over the years.
As far as I think the Batman comics are the way to go for those of you that don't really know where to start, I would just start with the New 52 Batman series by Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo. That's a fantastic jumping off point.
Jumping on.
Jumping on point. You're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, great place to start. For me, I would say it's little things. Like the little intricacies that they put in there, like that these writers have done. Scott Snyder, like you said, has done a fantastic job, like bringing people back to the forefront and kind of leading the way with that. But I feel like every writer's kind of put their little shtick in it. It's like I said, it's the small little things they enter into there. Like having like a little moment with Alfred,
Oh yeah,
And, like,
Alfred's
things like that.
He's
I'd watch. I read a young Alfred comic where
Well,
he's
they
like
have
a spy.
that series, the Alfred series.
Aren't they making a movie about that?
No, it's a TV series
Oh, yeah.
about Alfred when he's like in his like 20s, being like a spy, like MI6 and shit.
I
Like
will
What it
watch
says,
the
he's like in
fuck
Tunisia,
out of it.
and he's got like a Mauser C9,
that.
shooting Nazis.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, it's
I'd
like,
watch
like
that.
little,
I'm
like
gonna watch
little
that.
things like that is what makes that one of my favorite comic. But going forward, if you guys have anything you'd like us to talk about, obviously, drop us a like, leave a comment. Up on YouTube now, Instagram, Spotify, all the major platforms. So please let us know, show us some love in the future. And as always, thanks for listening.
Adios.